At the time of this 1987 interview, Robbin Crosby was at the height of his success. He just recorded 4 platinum albums with Ratt and was on the road during their Dancin Undercover tour. At the time, Ratt was one of precious few glam metal bands that featured 2 highly talented lead guitarists, Warren DeMartini and Robbin. Warren was a much flashier player, whereas Robbin's style was heavily influenced by Jimi Hendrix and Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. Robbin's bluesy lines and side-of-the-pick harmonics were essential to the classic Ratt sound. When I'd interviewed both of them a few years earlier, just after they'd recorded Out of the Cellar, Warren had this to say about Robbin's playing, quote, "He's more of a feel player, or I'm an if it ain't fast, it ain't got class kind of player." At 6'5", Robbin was also one of the tallest lead guitarists of his era, and he struck me as being a kind of gentle giant. In addition to speaking about his guitar collection, his style, and specific parts he played on classic Ratt songs, I was delighted to hear Robbin give a shout out to Dion Payton, a brilliant Chicago blues guitarist he'd seen in a club. The conversation you're about to hear took place on January 7, 1987. I also interviewed Warren that day, and the audio for this is available on my YouTube channel as well. I encourage you to give that one a listen too. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Robbin.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm real good.
I don't know if you remember this, but we did an interview, must be 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Was it a little double page on both of us?
I think it was something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know it got reprinted a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So how's the tour coming?
Excellent. Everything's great. After Christmas time, we have basically sold out shows all the way down the line, so we're having fun.
Great. Have you observed much of a change in your style since our last interview, which was right after the first album, I think?
In my style?
Uh-huh.
Well, I think on the Out of the Cellar record, that was probably the last time we talked, I was probably trying to play faster, sort of competing maybe with Warren a little bit, whereas in the last 2 records I've definitely found myself, and I think he has too, and our places within the band,
Do you still feel that there's a lot of give and take in being in a 2-guitar band?
I don't think it certainly has never been a problem for us. We've always sort of known who should do what when, and we've never, fought over a solo or anything like that.
Yeah. So are you comfortable with your role?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that's great. Would you mind describing how you write songs with Steven?
Usually, either Steven or myself will come up with the initial riff on guitar, and then we sort of take it through the assembly line from there. And sometimes we have things that fit new ideas from other songs in the past that we can sort of tinker toy them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or sometimes the whole thing will be new on the spot. So, but basically, it's just sort of bouncing off of each other.
Uh-huh.
Steven's a pretty good guitarist himself, so he comes up with some of the initial riffs. And Warren and myself do, and even Warren plays guitar and writes on it. So that's why all the multiple credits on songwriting.
I noticed that almost every possible combination of people have written songs together, but I don't think you and Warren have ever shared credits.
Warren and myself?
Yeah.
On everything we've ever done, we share credits.
Oh, I meant when it spells out who wrote what song on the record.
I think you should look again. I mean, every song that Round and Round, Lay It Down, Dance. Those are all Crosby, DeMartini, Piercy songs.
Oh, sorry. Huh. What's the appeal of working with Juan and Bobby?
The biggest appeal is really, for me, is the fact that they've been playing together forever and a day.
Uh-huh.
They really know each other's style rather than just sort of a bass player that goes do-do-do-do-do and a drummer that goes boosh, ba, 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 ba. We really get a good punchy live sound because they really know how to work together.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of rock rhythm sections are a little bit too, like I said, too simple. Not that we really do anything mind-blowing or anything. It's just, it really locks in. And they know each other's style very well, so it's easy for them to work off of each other.
Do you tend to listen to one more than the other on stage for your cues?
Yeah, Bobby and I work together on stage. Totally, I listen to the drums only.
Uh-huh. Do you ever have trouble hearing the bass?
No, I stand right next to him, so, I don't really. The only time I really notice one is like if his gear goes down or he drops a note or something, and then I really feel how much, you rely on that.
Yeah.
When it's just guitars and drums, it's, the whole bottom end drops out.
Yeah. What has experience taught you about getting a good guitar sound on record?
Go back to basics. At first, of course, we tried plugging everything into everything and running it through this and that and the other. And this album, we went through about 20 Marshall heads and as many old bottoms as we had. And we came up with 3 or 4 good amps and really only one cabinet that we recorded most of the album with, and just plugged straight into a Marshall.
Really?
So we didn't really over-process or over-equalize or really do anything to it.
What made that Marshall bottom special?
It's an old funky one, all beat up with 25-watt Celestions. It just has that twang to it that classic sort of Marshall sound,
Uh-huh.
We've tried the vintage Celestions, and then we turned to 30 watts, and of course we've been through EVs and everything possible. Like I said, we've sort of both gone back to, rather than high-tech stuff, back to just a good old Marshall.
Are you one for effects much?
In the studio, not really. We use a little bit of echo, or I think you'll notice on the new record, really, it's basically dry.
Mm-hmm.
Live, I use a little bit of echo and a little bit of chorusing sometimes, and that's about it.
What kind of device do you get those from?
The echo, I'm using a PCM42.
Uh-huh.
And the chorus I'm using is actually more of a harmonizer. It's the new SPX90.
Oh, yeah.
Yamaha. So I've got one side going down, harmonized down just slightly, and the other side going up. So it's full stereo imaging. So I used to use PCM42 and just sort of have that whoosh.
Right.
But this is definitely preferable for me.
Are you a guitar collector? I saw a recent magazine where you were posing with looked like a beautiful spread of guitars in front of you.
The one where I'm holding a wine glass?
I think that might have been it. It's in the press kit that Kathy sent me.
Yeah, well, to tell you the truth, I own a lot of guitars, but really only a few that are of any real value. In that picture, I'm holding on 58 Flying V, which is my pride and joy.
58?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got that last year, and I just bought a left-handed custom color Strat 62.
Oh, man.
It's red with tremolo, and it's candy apple, And I got that from Bunny Carlos in Cheap Tricks, who got it from Elliot Easton in the Cars, and he uses it in that video. I forget which one. selector, I got a Dan Armstrong, you know.
Uh-huh.
Those clear ones, but the rest of them mostly just, I've got a lot of Jacksons, and I've got a few Guild acoustics, and I've got some Gibsons that either I picked up or they made for me. I have make me a couple Firebirds with Floyd Roses and humbuckings.
Uh-huh.
And I got a Les Paul and stuff, but it's a reissue.
Which do you tend to use in the studio the most?
To tell you the truth, I use the same guitar that I use live in the studio, and that's always in the past and on this record been the Jackson.
Is it a particular Jackson?
Well, in the past, I preferred my Red Flying V, but since I switched over to the Firebird bodies, for some reason, I don't know why, they just sound a whole lot better. And there's two of those that sound better than the rest of them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why they're supposed to be exactly the same, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. What kind of pickups are in them?
I use the Seymour Duncan. They call it an Allen Holdsworth, but they don't make it anymore. It's got a double row of screws in it.
Uh-huh.
If I can't get those, I use just a regular jetpack.
Do you have special requirements for your guitars?
Well, again, in the past, I was really leaning towards wide necks, just for the spread of the strings. But now, my new guitars are a little bit more standard neck size, and I think that I play them better, really. So I'd have to say that really the only special thing for me is that I just don't like my action too low, and as long as the neck's not too skinny, I don't mind if it's a little bit flat as long as it's wide now.
Uh-huh. Would you tell me what kind of whammies you like?
I only use Floyd Rose.
Really?
The Kaler's too flimsy for me. I tend to be a bit of an animal on stage, and I also rest my hand on the bridge sometimes, so I can't really have it floating, so I have the Floyds butted down so that they can't go up.
Right. Is that what you used in Drive Me Crazy?
Yeah.
Would you describe the technique you use for attacking the whammy in that?
Let's see. How does it start? It starts with a regular stretch, and then pull off on the G string at the 12th fret, between the 12th and 14th fret, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulling sort of back and forth with the motion of the string. If that makes any sense to you at all.
Yeah, and then you pull the bar as you're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you multi-track parts of that solo?
The part that sounds like harmony, yeah.
Right.
But we didn't mix it really for harmony sound. We just wanted to give it some texture, because live I really just do it myself, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't want to break there for a double guitar solo, because the song's so pumping right at that point. You don't want to lose that rhythm guitar sound.
Yeah. What's the harmonic technique you use for the opening phrases of your solo in Looking for Love? Is that the Back to the Billy Gibbons?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I listened to that rhythm progression, you know. I thought, well, I can do this, or I can do that, or I can play fast, you know. I have the technology, and it just seemed to fit that just opening that striking note, and having it really count, you know.
Yeah. Sounds really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, who does the picking at the start of Body Talk? The little intro that's tagged on. Warren.
Yeah.
Now, on this album, they spelled out who soloed on which tracks. I wonder if you could tell me what the cream of your solos are on the earlier albums, skipping the first one.
Skipping the first run, then going, you mean the EP?
Yeah.
Skipping the EP.
Right.
Let's see, Out of the Cellar is Wanted Man. Warren does the first half,
Mm-hmm.
and then when it changes key to E, that's when I come in. I also play the solo on She Wants Money on the first side. I do the solo on Microcommunication. Just don't get in the city. Let's see, what else is there? I'm Insane. We split up. He does the fingering, and I do the noise, the wang bar noise. And I do the solo in Scene of the Crime. I'm having a hard time remembering what else is on that record.
Yeah.
That's about it for that one. The last record, Invasion, I did more soloing on than anything we've ever done before, you know. I think that's why this time I just sort of took a back seat to more on this record, you know. Which really doesn't bother me at all, because a couple of the solos, as always with us, were intended to be for me, and I went in and just said, you know what, he could do this better, you know. So he did. So, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, Invasion album, I solo in Never Use Love. Closer to My Heart is all my, you know, the intro, the acoustic, the solo, all that stuff's mine. I do all the solo on What You Give Is What You Get. And You Should Know By Now. I do the intro and the out, and then we split the middle solos and which come together for a harmony. What the hell else is on that record?
Wait a second, I got a copy right here. Well, I thought I did. I got the cylinder in the new one.
I just can't remember what the second track is on the second side, but oh well.
Now, when you translate this music to the stage, does the same guy who soloed on the record tend to solo on stage, or do you trade off? Or
no, always we always try to do things as close to the record as possible. So it's always whoever did it on the record does it live.
Do you try to reprise the same solo you did?
Yeah, I do, definitely.
When do you tend to play your best? Like, do you know?
Live. And when I'm in a good mood and I feel when things are right, I swear I don't even feel like I'm standing on my own 2 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When the crowd's happening and we're rocking, I mean, I can just get to smoking sometimes. But then sometimes, you know, if you're sick or you really feel the presence of the stage, you know, it's like a weight almost. That's the only time I feel hindered. In the studio, I like to play too because, you know, you can take it over and over. And for me, once I get it the way I want it, that's why I do it the same live, because that's what I hear, you know.
Yeah. Do you differentiate between practicing and warming up, or is it one and the same?
Well, for me, warming up was warming up, and practicing is really more of sort of songwriting. Like if I just want to blow some chops just to keep my lyrics up, you know, that's what I'll do when I'm at home. Otherwise, I'll sit down to create something, you know. And before the show, I just sort of have at it, you know, a little bit of everything just to loosen up my fingers.
Do you guys ever jam before the show?
Yeah, not a whole lot, you know, a little bit of blues or boogie or something.
Yeah. Well, what would you most like to improve about your playing?
Me, myself?
Yeah.
I'd like to have it so that people would say, when they hear it, hey, that's Robbin Crosby, you know?
Yeah.
I suppose every guitarist would want that. I think I could stand to work on my technique. I tend to let the sort of slow hand side of me sort of dominate, which is probably just out of laziness, you know. Plus, again, Warren is so hot, you know, and flashy and new style, this and that. It'd be silly for me to try to do that same cup of tea, really. So I think that we've got the best of both worlds, really. So like I said, in my playing, I've sort of tried to concentrate on keeping that big groove sort of give and see with a twist type sound, you know?
Sure. There's always a place for that.
I mean, I think that if we both played like him or me, we'd be boring, you know?
Yeah.
I think that most guitar bands that have two lead guitarists, I mean, like guitar player, guitarist, I mean, God, that gets old. 2 Ingves in a band or something. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Do you think, do you sense a sense of competition among hard rock guitarists?
Between myself and the rest of the world, absolutely not. Because like I said, I've removed myself from the competition. I refuse to compete. I play the way I play because I like it and I want to. I think that a lot of these like hotshot guys who think that, you know, that I'm better than his, where the hell's that at? These rock pukes don't impress me. You know?
That's great. Is being a good musician enough to ensure success nowadays, or does it take something else?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I would have to say no, because we all know that there's plenty of hot musicians out there that aren't working, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be another element. Whether or not I can put my finger on that, you know, obviously not. If I could, I'd sell the patent, you know?
Yeah. If
these days, though, you know, you have to be a recording artist. You have to be a live performer. You have to be a performer in the sense of videos. You know, I don't want to say actor because we're really just doing our thing, but
yeah.
You know, you have to be more of a sort of persona than maybe in the past.
Yeah. Are there drawbacks to gaining celebrity and becoming famous and successful? I mean, kids have an MTV image of how great it'll be, but how does the reality stack up to it?
Well, I think once that you really realize yourself what you're really out there for and what the reality of it is, it's not disillusioning at all, you know, for us. It's, we're doing what we want to do. I mean, of course, they have a glorified image of a rock star, but I think any real musician would tell you that that's all pretty much bullshit. I mean, basically, when you're on tour, you know, you can't party all the time and stay up all night fucking or whatever they think we do, you know, and go to work the next day. Not work, but play and perform at your best.
Yeah.
So, from that respect, you know, it definitely is different than the MTV portrayal.
Yeah. If you knew a young guy who was maybe a kid brother or a son or something who wanted to pursue the rock guitar career, would you be able to suggest any route that you think they ought to take?
Well, I think that first of all, they should be doing it for the right reasons and not because they want to get laid or whatever they think that it's going to be like, you know. Because I think that a lot of people do just, you know, I want to play guitar because the guitar player gets the pussy or something, you know. I think that you should make sure that you're doing it because you enjoy the art, you know, just for the right reasons. And keep at it. Don't, if your heart's in the right place, you'll end up in the right place. I just truly believe that. Like Warren and myself, you know, we never ever wanted anything else. This is not a second choice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since we can both remember this is what we wanted to do, and I think that, you know, you work hard, and again, if your heart's in it, you'll get there too.
Yeah. Have you done much playing outside of Ratt in the last couple of years?
No. I mean, God, we don't have time to turn around.
Yeah.
We're basically on tour or recording. And when we weren't, this year was the first time mind, you know.
Yeah.
And I also think it's good to take a break from it for a while sometimes, because I think you do stagnate.
Yeah.
And sometimes, every now and then, a new player will come along and, you know, have something different or new, or just a variation that's inspirational, you know.
Have you bumped into anybody impressive in your travels?
Non-pro?
Yeah, or pro, either one. Maybe someone who's not real well known.
Well, geez, you know, last year I was in Chicago, and to tell you the truth, I don't remember the guy's name, and it's a shame. But I went to some blues bars, you know, very black blues bars. This guy's name, I believe his name was Dion Tate.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but I couldn't believe the way the guy played, and it was just this little seedy bar.
Was it a young black guy?
No, I'd say he was probably 35 years old.
Huh.
And man, this guy was, I mean, smoking. Really just hot. I talked to him for a while, and I talked to the record company, and I thought, God, we're just really beating a dead horse here.
Yeah.
Blues records, they're just not interested.
Yeah.
But as far as pro guys go, like Steve Vai is certainly a monster.
Yeah.
And Steve Stevens I like a lot too. He doesn't show off too much, but you know he can do it, you know.
Very musical, that guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy too.
Yeah. Well, do you have any plans for the future or things that you'd like to accomplish, Robbin?
In or out of Ratt?
Either way.
I just really want longevity for the group, and any music courses or anything that we take in direction terms, I would have to say, well, it will always be rock and roll. But I'd like to see the band grow, you know, with its fans.
Uh-huh.
And be around.
Yeah.
Entertain.
Is there anything else you want to cover for this piece?
Gosh, Jazz, that's up to you.
Well, I think I got what I'm looking for.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Robbin.
I appreciate you taking the time.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
After our interview, Robbin Crosby would only spend about 3 more years with Ratt. Sad to say, his later years were plagued by drug abuse, AIDS, and a pancreatic condition that caused him to gain a significant amount of weight. Sad to say, he passed away on June 6, 2002. His friends and family paddled out on surfboard to spread his ashes into the Pacific Ocean. R.I.P. Robbin. Before signing off, I want to thank my podcast producer, Nik Hunt, Southern Folklife Collection at UNC, and I encourage you to check out my online Talking Guitar magazine for lots of articles and podcasts. Thanks, and hope to see you next time.